Hey mamas, you are listening to the Motherhood is Ghetto podcast. We all know motherhood can be a beautiful thing, but girl, it can also be ghetto. Join me as we discuss some of the best and worst parts of being a mom raising kids, all while trying to figure out this thing called life. This ghetto is a safe space, mamas. So welcome to the hood. Hey mamas, welcome back to another episode of Motherhood is Ghetto. My name is Joy, and how y'all doing today? If y'all doing all right, you already know what to say. Say amen. I pray you are having a great day and a great week so far. And y'all, it's almost Christmas. Christmas happens to be my favorite holiday of the year. And not so much so for like presents or anything like that. I really truly enjoy the holiday season. Like, I love the lights, I love the decorations, I love Christmas songs. I just love everything about Christmas, not necessarily like the gift giving part or like receiving gifts, but my favorite part of this season is because people tend to be festive and more happy. I love going to the mall and see how the mall is done up. I love driving around, seeing people's houses lit up, going to places like venues like that are lit up. Like me and the kids, we love to go to Enchant Las Vegas and where they have the ballpark all lit up. Like, I just think that it's very beautiful and very, very just festive. And I don't know, it's just my favorite time of year. Like, it's the favorite holiday for me for sure. But it's almost Christmas, and I hope and pray that you are done with your holiday shopping. Gifts are wrapped and ready to go under the tree. And I don't know about y'all, but I know with when I was growing up, my parents used to wait until we fell asleep on Christmas Eve to put our gifts under the tree. Like, they would put the boring gifts under the tree like first. Like, they would put like the clothes, the shoes, like the boring stuff under the tree. But when it came Christmas Eve, then they would put like the big gun gifts, like the toys that we asked for, the bikes, all that stuff. So that way when we woke up on Christmas Day, like there was double the gifts under the tree than what we thought. And I don't know why. They always used to get us every year. Like, we would think that what was under the tree was all we were gonna get, and then there'd be double the gifts on Christmas Day. And I'm like, how do they always fool us like this? Like, we fell for it every time. But yeah, I hope that all your gifts are purchased, wrapped, ready to go for whenever you put them under the tree, or if they're already under the tree. So that way we could just relax and ride out the rest of this week until Christmas, and be as relaxed and stress free as possible. Amen. That's the goal. And I will say that I am I'm pretty much done Christmas shopping. Everything is bought and purchased, just needs to be wrapped. So that's what I'm gonna be working on before the kids get out of school officially. Like, I want everything wrapped and done with officially before they're out of school, because once they're out of school, then they're gonna be here at home and I won't have any time to do none of that. But yeah, but I hope that your day and your week is off to a great start and it's going well. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about some of the unspoken fears of parents raising autistic children, or autism parents, as we're called. And I got this idea because I saw a video on Instagram, and actually, I've seen multiple videos of this on Instagram and different people, where they're being asked, or they ask themselves, do they feel like it would be better if their autistic child passed away before they did, or if it would be better if the parent passed away before the autistic child. If you could have it your way, like, what would you prefer? And at first, when I saw the videos going around, I thought it kinda jarring. I was like, "Who thinks of that?" Like, who's out here thinking of that? But then I had to take a moment and be like, "Joy, like, you gotta remember, like, caregiving is a lot, like, and it takes a heavy toll, especially on the parents who are doing the caregiving for someone, with special needs or that will need, like, lifelong caregiving." And it's stressful and it's a lot. And just also too, not even in the capacity of caring for someone with special needs, also too, like caring for sick elderly parents or a sick sibling, something like that. And you know what? Like that's probably a valid question. It's not anything that I've ever thought of because I know for sure, like, I don't want to go before my children reach adulthood. That's one thing that I'm like, for sure of. But at the same time, like, I definitely want my kids to outlive me for sure. I don't want to ever have to experience losing a child because I just couldn't imagine how that would feel. So I don't want to imagine it. I want to imagine my kids outliving me, but that's a real question for some parents who are raising children on the spectrum. And also too, in the videos, they also talk about their other fears that they have being an autism parent and fears that they have for their child as their child grows and becomes an adult and a member of society. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that. And honestly, some of the fears that I have aren't too far off from the fears that I have for the rest of my kids. And I think too, the fears could vary depending on where your child sits on the spectrum because not every child is high functioning and also to the amount of caretaking that you have to administer for your child is going to depend on where they're at on the spectrum. So not everyone's experience is the same, but I know for me a lot of the fears that I have for Solomon align with the fears that I have for my other two kids as well who are not on the spectrum. I have fears that if they'll be able to take care of themselves financially or will they struggle in their adult life, like all those things like I think about for all three of them. But if I had to specifically think of some fears that I have for Solomon specifically with him being autistic, I think my biggest thing was when we first found out that Solomon was autistic. My biggest fear was bullies and people making fun of him because he was unique. I'm living that fear right now. Solomon deals with bullies right now, and this is a new part of adolescence that we're navigating because all throughout elementary school, Solomon didn't have a problem with bullies. Everyone loved Solomon. Solomon was very well liked amongst his peers as well as his administrators. So we never had an issue with bullies and things of that nature until he got to middle school. And I don't know what it is about middle school kids, they just assholes. Like I don't know what they're putting in the milk for the middle school people, and I don't know how these parents are raising their kids, but they're just assholes. So that's one fear that I had early on when he was first diagnosed, when he was 3, that he would be bullied and made fun of, and it's happening now. But one of the fears that I have for him is more like relationship-wise. I really would love Solomon to, in his adult life, find someone who can care for him, love him in a way that makes him feel safe and doesn't make his partner feel like his uniqueness and how he chooses to live life, conduct himself like isn't a burden on his partner. and his partner is someone who accepts him and embraces him for everything that he is and everything that he brings, and just someone that really cares for him and wants to see him do well. Like, my fear as his mom is that he won't be able to find that, and that's why I'm like, I need to stay alive as long as I possibly can because because if he can't find that type of relationship in a partner, then of course, like, I'm gonna continue to love him how I love him, but I really have this fear of Solomon getting to a point where he feels so alone and so depressed that he's just done with life. And in the mental health matters episode that I did where I talk about Solomon having suicide ideation and talking about ending his life, that's what scares me the most is that there won't be anyone to help reinforce, like making sure that he's seeing someone or going to therapy, talking out, his issues, opening up to people. I'm afraid that he'll get to a point where he just closes up and shuts the world out and those feelings and that ideation like takes over. So that's probably my biggest fear for him. I don't think that that really ties to his autism. That's just like my fear as his mom. But also too, like I said before, like the fears I think are going to vary depending on where on the spectrum a child is. And with Solomon particularly, he has high functioning autism, so he won't need as much help in his adult life, and he won't need continued around the clock care. He will be able to function as an adult and be able to work and drive a car and do all the things that normal people do because he's doing it now as a kid, doing all the normal things kids do. Um, but because he's on the spectrum, I do w I do have thoughts of, like, if someone tries to take advantage of that, or he moves in with people and they take advantage of him and his money and just mistake, like, his autism as some sign of him being weak or him being dumb or, not equipped with the knowledge that he needs, like, all that stuff plays in my head, but I have to remember too that the way that I'm raising him and the way that I'm raising all my kids plays a part in that too, in getting them prepared and ready for what the world may throw at them. I can't prepare them for everything, but I can definitely like help them to be strong-willed, strong in their mind, and honestly just ask questions. Like don't take everything at face value. And that's what I try to teach my kids now and instill in them, especially like in the world of social media. Like they'll come and they'll show me something, and I'm like, man, that's not real. Like that's fake. Like that's not true at all. And just like fact find and before they believe something. And that's what I try to teach them. And I hope that that carries over with them into their adulthood. But all in all, like the fears that I have for Solomon are the same fears that I have for all my kids. And before I wrap up this episode, I wanted to mosey on over to Google to look up some of the common fears autism parents have for their child. And if any of these fears align with what you feel, then just know, like, you're not alone. A lot of us are thinking this, and it kinda touches on some things that I already mentioned about, like, financial and them being able to take care of themselves without you. But, let's go over some of the common fears of autism parents. So, the first fear is future and independence. A primary fear is what will happen to their child once the parents are no longer around to care for them, and a lack of autonomy in their child's adult life. And then also financial worries. Many parents express anxiety about the financial burden of providing ongoing care, therapies, and support for their child. Independence, concerns about ensuring their child has the skills to live a fulfilling life and manage on their own are prevalent. Social and emotional challenges. Parents worry about their child being bullied, rejected, or not fitting in with peers due to their social and communication differences. Again, I'm living that right now. That is a fear realized, and we are in the middle of it. We're in the thick of it. Um, Fear of their child experiencing high levels of anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues is a significant concern. Same, girl, Google. Same. Parents fear their child's disruptive behaviors, meltdowns, or instances of elopement, which can put their child in danger. And then the last part is day to day life and caregiving, where they need more caregiving. They need more like 24/7 type care. Um, the need for constant supervision and vigilance about their child's needs can lead to stress and burnout. Parents worry about navigating a complex system to find the right services, support, and educational resources for their child. Okay, pause on that for a moment because I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. What I know about resources and things like that for children with special needs, I've only learned by going through something and then someone educating me about it. Like the information, not that it's hidden, but it's not like when your child is first diagnosed with autism, like it's not like they hand you this grimoire of all the things, all the resources. Some of this stuff you really have to dig for, and some of these resources and educational stuff, like you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of what I do know and the knowledge that I have has been like that I've gotten like from Solomon's teachers and them just making sure that I knew my rights as his mom and his rights as the student, as the person, the individual with the disability. And I won't say that, the information is hard to come by, but it could be a challenge to get connected with the right resource, like the resource that's going to benefit you and your child the most. I will say that that's a struggle because your child doesn't need every resource. They need the resource that's going to be best for them. So finding that and navigating through that and all the different resources that are available, that's what can be challenging. Caregiving or caregiver burden. Some parents feel an overwhelming sense of burden from the demands of caregiving, which can impact their own health and relationships. And parents may fear situations where their child's sensory sensitivities, such as to loud noises or certain textures, could lead to distress. So, those are some of the common fears of parents dealing with autism. And I'm sure there's a myriad of other fears that we can incorporate when it comes to our children on the spectrum. But like I said, for me, for where Solomon is today, the fears that I have for him are just common fears, and they align with the same fears that I would have for my other son and my daughter if I were to leave this world before the age of maturity for them. So before they're, you know, out into the adult world, and I can see from my eyes that okay, they could take care of themselves. They know how to navigate the world, the system, they got a job, they got a place to stay. Like if I can't see them to that point, you know, um and it's just God's will that I can't get them to that point, then I'm just going to have to trust and believe that what I've done up until that point as their mom has has and will translate into how they function as adults. And by the grace of God, if I'm able to see them into adulthood and see them have their own kids and stuff like that, then I'd be grateful for that too. And I'm gonna do my best to be here to see it. Amen. So with that being said, mamas, I'm gonna go ahead and land the plane here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. And don't be shy. If you're a parent raising a child with autism, let me know in the comments. Let me know what some of your fears are for your child. I would love to connect with you all. And yeah, you can leave a comment if you're listening on Spotify. You can leave a comment also too if you're watching this on YouTube. You can leave a comment there. Also, you can DM me. I'm on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. So you could DM me there with any questions or comments, anything you have pertaining to the topic or any topic on motherhood, or if you have specific questions for me about grief or parenting through grief, raising kids, single motherhood, widow life, like all that stuff. I'm an open book. Ask me what you need to ask me and we could talk about it. But thank you so much again. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and happy holiday. I'll probably see y'all again before Christmas because I think Christmas Eve is a Wednesday. So that is an upload day. So I'll probably see you guys before Christmas. But if I don't, then I hope you have a happy Christmas, happy holiday, all that stuff. And I hope you get exactly what you wish for, what you asked for. And yeah, so thank you so much. And until next time, mamas. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. Don't forget to follow the podcast and share with anyone who you think may enjoy it. And follow me on Instagram at motherhood_ghetto. Also, feel free to DM me if you have any experiences, opinions, or views on motherhood you'd like me to share on the podcast. Until next time, mamas.